Hello, dear students and my colleagues and my audience worldwide. Very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. As you know, this channel is dedicated to literary studies for the help of the students. And today, once again, I'm going to record a very small video on part four of the novel, The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And here is the part four. You know, part four has been titled as The Interview. It should have been rather The Deal, because here both the protagonists go to take some kind of deal with each other, and that is what we are going to read. And we shall find very interesting facts of the life of the women and the kind of life of the men as well, and the and their and their likes and dislikes also. How would they like to assume certain things about themselves and would assume the same things about women? So let's have a start. And here is the text that I wanted to show you. That's the part four, the interview. And the beginning passage, the students can read themselves. There's no need of for discussing this passage. However, I have colored certain paragraphs, and these are really very interesting, and these must be taken care of. For example, the very first passage is here. Closely following the jailer into the dismal apartment appeared that individual of singular aspect whose presence in the crowd had been of such deep interest to the wearer of Scarlet Letter. He was lodged in the prison not as suspected of any offense, but as the most convenient and suitable mode of disposing of him until the magistrate should have conferred with the Indian sagamores respecting his ransom. His name was announced as Roger Chillingworth. The jailer, after ushering him into the room, remained a moment marveling at the comparative quiet that followed his entrance, for Hester Prynne had immediately become as still as death, although the child continued to moan. Now, we see that here is a paragraph which is very cleverly used and employed in order to understand the situation, what it's going to be. Chillingworth definitely was lost, and when he came back to the same city where Hester Prynne is present, and she was showing herself while standing on that platform where she was supposed to stand as a punishment, there she saw this Chillingworth as well. Both recognized each other, and when the Hester Prynne is brought back to her room in the jail, in the prison, she's much upset. She's much having agitation in her behavior, and her child is also mourning. And so jailer decided that some kind of doctor should be invited so that she may be becoming placid and calm and peaceful. And that is why Chillingworth was brought, because he is so-called doctor, the medicine man, not an MBBS doctor, of course, but he is the man who has learned a lot from the gypsies, and that is why he is there to treat this woman. So as soon as the doctor enters, the Hester Prynne, because of her own worry, after seeing this man, becomes very much silent, cool, and peaceful. So that is why here the technique has been used to introduce the doctor that the person who is agitated should become peaceful. But the real meaning are quite different, and those meanings say that the doctor is actually the husband of the woman, and that is why she is very much upset, and her personal agitation has turned into some other type of agitation, and that is very heavy. So that is why the initial agitation is gone, and that is why she is behaving in a very different way. So let us proceed into more passage and see what further happens with her. Like you see the small green paragraph is there. Pretty friend, leave me alone with my patient, said the practitioner. Trust me, good jailer, you shall briefly have peace in your house, and I promise you, Mistress Prynne, shall hereafter be more amenable to just authority than you may have found her hereafter. You see, this is the continuation of the first paragraph. The Chillingworth, the doctor, is trying to gain more time by saying, okay, it's all right that I have come here, but I need to talk to the patient all alone. And that's again another device employed by the writer to seek some kind of secrecy between these two people, so they can talk to each other what they cannot talk publicly. And here, therefore, Chillingworth requests the jailer, Master Brackett, to go away so that he can talk to his patient quite alone. Now, this is the paragraph which goes to introduce to us a kind of scene where the interview is going to take place between the most important people in this text. That is Hester Prynne, the wife of Chillingworth. Supposedly, she was the wife, and Chillingworth claims also, and now the sin has been done. The birth of a child has taken place, and Chillingworth, therefore, is there, and it is the call because of the problem and the worry and up to some extent shame and the sin of both of these people. Let us see how Hester Prynne as a woman cooperates with the situation, bears the situation, and how Chillingworth tries to bring his authority as a husband and what ultimately in the end happens. So that is why we need to go down into more text also. And for this purpose, the whole of the interview continues to take place. The discussion continues to take place between these two. Why she has done this, who is the person responsible for that, and what kind of sin she is feeling. All these things Chillingworth talks to her. But when he attacks religiously to her that you might have been feeling the pangs and the pains of this kind of thing which has happened with you. He addresses Hester Prynne and wants to know the name of that man, and she says that she would never talk to that person. And then he also says to her in the passing words that if you don't tell me, you just see that you have been my wife and you should have been sincere with me, faithful with me. The answer comes from Hester Prynne in these words. "Thou knowest," said Hester, for depressed as she was, she could not endure this last quiet stab at the token of her shame. "Thou knowest that I was frank with thee, I felt no love, no feigned any." So this is the passage, very small passage, where Hester Prynne is trying to bring before Chillingworth that although she was the wife of this person, but she didn't love him at all, she didn't feel any kind of attraction for him, and she says that she had been telling him most of the time as well. And this goes to show that if the chance of the death of Chillingworth had happened, it was further supported by the idea that the woman was not in love with that man. So in that way, the writer has trying to bring before us one idea that even if religion is not there, even if chances and the occasions are not there, one thing is there: if somebody loves someone, the faithlessness cannot occur. If it occurs, it is because of the absence of love between the two people. And here is the person, Chillingworth, standing and claiming her to be the wife, and the wife is saying she was not in love with him. So that is why if any idea of faithlessness has come, it is because of the lack of love. So that is the role of love that the writer is trying to bring before us. Let us go further, see further what happens in this chapter, which is of interest for us. And here we see more passage in that we can read. It's very interesting and important. Rather, it should be called the most important passage of the chapter. "But Hester, man lives who has wronged us both. Who is he?" "Ask me not," replied Hester Prynne, looking firmly into his face, "that thou shalt never know." "Never, sayest thou?" rejoined he, with a smile of dark and self-relying intelligence. "Never know him, believe me, Hester. There are few things, whether in the outward world or to a certain depth in the invisible sphere of thought, few things hidden from the man who devotes himself earnestly and unreservedly to the solution of a mystery. Thou mayest cover up the secret from the prying multitude. Thou mayest conceal it too from the ministers of the magistrate. Even thou didst this day, when they sought to wrench the name out of thy heart and give thee a partner on thy pedestal. But as for me, I come to thee." The next page also has few of the lines, so continuing to reading with that. "In quest with other senses than they possess, I shall seek this man, as I have sought truth in books, as I have sought gold in the alchemy. There is a sympathy that will make me conscious of him. I shall see him tremble. I shall feel myself shudder suddenly, and unaware of sooner or later he must needs be mine." So that is the paragraph which shows us that like other people, like any common people, Hester Prynne is being inquired by her husband also who that man is. So it is not the big matter for Chillingworth that his wife has committed adultery. It is the biggest matter for Chillingworth that he wants to know who was the man. But in comparison to that, there is a strong opposition, strong determination on the part of the woman. She says that she will never tell the name of that man. Never ever she's going to tell the name of that man. Even Chillingworth tries to threaten her that he's got certain arts, certain skills which he has learned from these people, gypsy people. With the help of that, he will be able to know, with the help of his knowledge of chemistry, he will be able to know who that man is going to be. So Hester Prynne should tell him, but he ultimately is refused, 100% refused. So here is the determination of the woman in comparison to the requests and the pressure which is being employed on that woman to let the name of that person be revealed, and Hester Prynne is there. She has borne all that. She's wearing the Scarlet Letter only to hide the honor of the man who was involved with her. So how she could reveal all these things. So let us enter into the next passages and see how the chapter ends. So we are going to reach the end of the chapter as well. The last passage, possibly it is here. Let's have a reading of that. Uh, Thy acts are like mercy, said Hester, bewildered and applied, but thy words interpret thee as terror. One thing that thou wast, my wife, I would to enjoin upon thee, continued the scholar. Thou hast kept the secret of thy paramour, keep likewise mine. There are none in this land that know me. Breath not to any human soul that thou didst ever call my husband. Here on the wild outskirts of the earth I shall pitch my tent, for elsewhere, a wanderer, isolated from human interest, I find here a woman, a man, a child, among whom and myself there exists the closet legament. No matter whether of love or hate, no matter whether of right or wrong, thou and thine Hester Prynne belong to me. My home is where thou art and where he is. But betray me not. Whereof dost thou desire it? Inquired Hester, shrinking. She hardly knew why from the secret bond. Why not announce thyself openly and cast me off at once? So this is the paragraph where the weakness of man is coming before us, that he is all the time trying to know about the sin of the woman, and all the society has known the sin of the women, and they have been punishing her as well by different ways. But the man is there to say that he should not be disclosed at all. He says, if you hide one man, hide me as well. And here lies the weakness of man, that he is unable to, come up with the idea that, okay, I am also the man responsible for that. That is why he needs security. That is why he needs guarantee from Hester that she should not reveal his name. Now, on the one hand, if you have this woman, how strong she is, that she's bearing the punishment of everything, each and everything, and she is going through all this punishment, but she is not budging in the way as the man is budging. So he says that he will stay there. He will try to know the secret, try to understand where the man is going to be, because he says all his interests are here. But he takes the promise from the girl also that she will not be revealing him to anybody, so that his name may remain secret. So secrecy can be maintained on the part of the man, but not on the part of the woman. That is the kind of message the writer is trying to bring for us. So let us see if we have any other lines that we can read, and possibly we don't have any other line. The chapter ends with that. Next time, with the hopes of coming up with the fifth chapter, I shall be there. And here all our discussions on part 4 end. So that is why we must concentrate on the differences between these two, and how they discuss the things with each other, and how they come up with an agreement. That is the gist of the chapter. I hope everybody has liked it, have understood something. If so, do not fail to subscribe, or do not fail to hit the like button as well. If you have any queries or any comments, do come on the YouTube page or Facebook page. I will try to come back to you with that as well. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you in some next video.